Hi, welcome to this spotlight session all focused around student finance. I'm joined today by Kevin and he works with Students Finance England in the funding information team. So welcome, Kevin. To get us started, what is student finance, who is it for, and what are the benefits of accessing it?
Okay, thanks, Stephanie. Yeah, the Student Loans Company exists for two reasons, essentially. We are tasked with getting money to students and to universities at the start of the university process, and we exist at the end to collect the loan repayments back in. So the Student Loans Company gives out government-funded money to students in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So student support, the idea is that the government will give you money upfront to meet the costs of money to help you sustain your lifestyle while you're there. And students will repay that money over a longer period of time after they've finished. So who's it for? It's for anyone, essentially. It's for anyone that wants to access higher education courses,
Yeah.
and it exists so that people don't have to find that money up front. So that's a little bit really about who we are and what we do, and the whole idea behind student finance, I suppose.
Yes, so a student wanting to apply for it, there's two different loans that students can access. So that's the tuition fee loan and the maintenance loan. Can you tell me a little bit about the difference between those two?
Yeah, sure. So tuition fee loan and maintenance loan, they are loans available to everybody. So first and foremost, the tuition fee loan. So we're lucky here to have some of the best universities running the best courses in the world. And in order to sustain that, the students need to pay to make sure that we can keep the lecturers and the equipment and the research facilities and the accommodation. So parents that are watching will probably have seen that in general, most of the fees are about £9,250 per
Yes.
year. So the tuition fee loan that is available to us is a loan essentially to cover those course costs. We would pay the tuition fee loan directly to a university or a college on behalf of a student. So the students or parents don't actually see a penny of that money. We pay it directly to the university, and that enables them to run the course that the parent's son or daughter will be in attendance. It's non-means tested. Okay, so what that means is that we're not looking for any financial information. Essentially, if you haven't studied already, then you will be entitled to take out a tuition fee loan. Just tell us how much you want and which institution you want us to pay it to. Most of our students, we get about 1.6 million applications every year from
Wow.
students. Most of them, overwhelming majority, take out whatever they're being charged. They just say, okay, pay the whole lot for me.
Mm.
Um, and it's one less thing for them to worry about. The maintenance loan, this is a little bit different because this is money that we give to students. So this is money that goes into students' bank accounts, and it's designed to help meet any costs that they would run into while studying. So it's a contribution towards everyday costs, essentially. I think the big one is probably going to be accommodation.
Mm.
Um, but it's for the student to spend however they see fit, essentially. Travel, books, accommodation, lifestyle, all of those things. It's money that the government will give to the student upfront to help them during their studies. Um, it is paid in 3 installments, so students will receive an installment every term. So it's roughly around about 10 weeks between each installment. And it's a little bit different because it's around about half of it is non-means tested. So similar to the tuition fee loan, everybody can have around about half. The other half, how much you get, is dependent on parents' income. So this is where we do need to involve parents. But yeah, they are our sort of core loans, is what we would call them. Tuition fees to help pay for the course, and maintenance loan to help the student with some living costs while studying. And they're available every year of study.
Yes. So you've touched a little bit there on parents being involved in that maintenance loan. So what is their involvement in that application process?
Essentially, they are an information providing service. I think it's really important to emphasize to parents, particularly that are going into the student loan process for the first time, that the loan and the support that is given out is the students. Parents are not signing up to anything. You're not guarantors. The loan will never pass on to you or be inherited by you or anything like that. All we need parents for essentially is information. And we need that information to work out how much of that maintenance loan we can give to their son or daughter. So we will ask parents during the application process for their taxable income and permission to go directly to HMRC to get that information and put that into an assessment to work out how much support your son or daughter could get. Means tested assessments, as we call them, we do need parents to provide financial information, and that helps us gauge how much of the maintenance loan they will be entitled to receive. As I say, everyone gets around about half. The other half will be dependent on that income.
Amazing. So following on from that then, what advice can you give to parents who may have had a change in salary over the past year for reasons out of their control?
Okay, that's a great question, and it's really relevant at this time of year. So essentially, we need these assessments to be fair, we need them to be accurate, and we need them to be reflective of the financial situation in the household. So what we generally do is, I mentioned that we go to HMRC to find out parents' taxable information. We usually use the income from the tax year ending previous to this one. So for students starting in September 21, we will ask for parents' income not on April 21, but on April 2020. And across the board, we will use that. That way it's fair across the board for everybody. Now, we know obviously that this year has been anything but typical, and there will be parents out there that are thinking, oh, hang on a minute, because of the lockdown and the COVID situation, the income that I had in April 2020 is not what I'm earning now. And I think it's important to know and to reassure parents that we can cope with that. We can run what is called a current year income assessment, where what that means is if there has been a drop of 15% in the household income between April 2020 and the here and now, we will ask parents for your income details now, and we can run up-to-date, fresh assessments based on the real life situation that students are in currently. So parents can be the driving force on that as well. There is a current year income form that they can download from the gov.uk website. So I would just sort of take the opportunity, I suppose, to reassure parents that if their financial information has changed since April 2020, and we get a lot that do every year, but particularly this year, we're expecting more than normal, we can cope with that, and we can run accurate, up-to-date financial assessments so that your son or daughter will get every penny that they're entitled to.
Amazing. So help is available. Just need to ask for it. So last but not least, then, just having a little think about sort of that the repayment period and once their child has finished university. I know at the University of Leeds, we assure parents that repayments are not to be scared of and shouldn't discourage people from applying to higher education and applying for student finance. Can you explain a little bit about the repayment process and hopefully sort of settle those concerns parents might have?
Yeah, hopefully. And I do have a lot of sympathy with parents who are trying to understand the student loan repayment system.
It's a lot.
Because it is completely different to what they've probably got experience in dealing with in terms of private loans or bank loans or mortgages. We really are unique because our repayment system is completely different. So we are keen to make sure that we can do what we can to help people understand what makes us unique, I suppose. And the key thing really that underpins the entire student finance system is that the loan that your son or daughter will take out is repayable based on what they earn, not what they owe.
Yes.
And I think that is pretty much the key to underpinning the entire student finance system. So whereas private banks and things like that will have a set amount that loans are repaid every month. The student loan repayment is variable based on the student's salary. So as the student earns more money, which they are more likely to do with a higher education qualification behind them, as their income increases, then their student loan repayment will increase as well. If for whatever reason their student loan amount decreases, then by default that means their salary has decreased too. So the two work in absolute tandem with each other. The figure that the government have set at which you are earning enough to make repayments through the tax system for your student loan repayment has just gone over £27,000, so £27,250, I think it is. So that is the amount where the government says to students, okay, now you're earning enough to make monthly repayments through the tax system. So we don't touch the first £27,000. After that, repayments are based at 9% of anything over that amount. The key thing to remember with that, I suppose, and the key thing that parents would probably want to be assured is, will my son or daughter be able to afford the repayments? And it's a really fair and legitimate concern. But the short answer is yes, because however much they are repaying, it's based on that principle that repayments are based on what you earn, not what you owe. And if you're not earning above that threshold, you will not make that monthly deduction at the end of the month. If you are, then it'll be 9% of any income over that amount. And
that comes out of their wage. They don't have to do anything. It is like an extra form of tax. It's all done automatically.
That's right. Yeah, that's probably the best way for parents, particularly that are going through the process for the first time, is to think of it as paying additional tax, because it works in exactly the same way. How much you get paid at the end of the month will determine how much tax, national insurance and student loan repayment is deducted automatically. So you're absolutely right. There's nothing to do. It's just like a tax, and it's like that for a maximum of 30 years, which is a big commitment. It's a long-term commitment, but whatever isn't repaid at the end of 30 years is written off. And it is widely agreed that most students will not repay the full amount that they borrow, because within those 30 years, things happen. Salaries will go up, salaries may come down. There may be situations where students work part-time, which will take them below the threshold. They may take career breaks to start a family, things like that. That income will probably come down below the threshold, so nothing will come off. But whatever isn't repaid at the end of 30 years is written off. So one of the questions that we get asked quite a lot from parents, and again, it's a very legitimate concern, will my son or daughter be able to afford it? So hopefully we can say that yes, they will, because it's directly linked to their salary. And will they be repaying for the rest of their life? And the answer is no to that. The longest that anyone will be repaying is 30 years after the end of their course.
Amazing. Okay, thank you so much, Kevin. Parents, I hope that has been helpful and settled any sort of concerns that you may be having. Please do check the government website for any further information, and I hope that's helped.